Simonetta, broadcaster for the team, joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. And hey, we found the patio, Rocky, and we've got our first outdoor show here right in downtown.
We do. What a cool setup for the ticket tonight, and for outside the box for us to be able to get down here into the Haymarket area and take our first show outside of the studio.
Have you had Buzzard Billy's yet in your brief tenure here in Lincoln?
I have. I actually made a point to have dinner here during one of the days that we were here for main camp in the summertime, and our GM Nick Fabrizio and I ate here. We had a great time, great meal, and certainly a place that I would recommend to all of our fans.
Yeah, and we hope if you're just listening and you're like, hey, I only live about 5 minutes from the Haymarket, 10 minutes from the Haymarket, come on down. We're here until about 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, of course. And, boy, so much to talk about, Rocky. And what a weekend the guys had, or the week with the Thursday game, the Saturday game. The crowds in Lincoln, Nebraska are back. You've got 3,000-plus people at the ice box. How fun is that for you and the guys? We'll talk about the winning and the performance on the ice, but the fans here have just been bringing it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a buzz here in the community, obviously, which was our goal when Mr. Fernandez purchased the organization. We've talked about how the Lincoln Stars have such a rich tradition of success, and things have unfortunately been tough the last couple years between the pandemic and couple losing seasons. It's been a challenge, but our fans are excited. They're coming back in droves. The atmosphere in the box has been unbelievable. It's such a great place to play, and our fans certainly give us that quote-unquote home ice advantage.
You're listening to Outside the Box live from Buzzard Billy's on 8th Street, right in the downtown Haymarket in Lincoln. Cristiano Simonetta joined alongside by Stars head coach Rocky Russo. Let's start with the Thursday game. I mean, where can we go and begin down these plethora of avenues on that Thursday game against Fargo? It was a game originally set for 10:30 a.m., gets moved to 6:05 p.m., and you guys find yourselves down 2-0 very early on. It's 4-1, it's 5-2, it's 6-5, and if you would have told me all of those factors that go into it and you end up with 2 points, just a big win and a gutsy performance from your guys against Fargo.
Huge win, and you know, for us, if you look at the numbers, we're not good when we're behind, as much as it looks like we are, and we've come back and won some games. And in general, if we don't score first, we have a hard time. But I think that's kind of changing as the season rolls on, because our guys have such a belief in each other, and they know that they're never out of a game. If we just continue to stick to our process and play Stars hockey, we're going to find a way. And I told them that going into the third period, hey, we're down a couple here, but we're going to find a way to tie this thing up if we just stick to it. And all of a sudden it's 5-4 real quick, and then it's 5-5, and the building's rocking, and you know, you could feel us really starting to take over.
And it's not just the fact that you guys were down those deficits. You had a weird, uncharacteristic night for both of your goaltenders, really. You have Cameron Whitehead, who allows a goal from the far side corner. Caden Barrico comes in. He allows a goal where he passes the puck from behind the net to a member of the Fargo Force for an easy tap-in. And despite that, Caden was able to bounce back, make 9 out of 11 saves. You force overtime with Antonio Fernandez's goal with just under 80 seconds left in regulation. He's up to 11 goals on the year now after that big shot from the right point. We call it his office, and he's been living there all season long.
You know what? You look at that second period, and if I told you that we played really well that period, you'd probably think we were crazy. But we controlled the pace of play. We had the puck in their end for most of the period, and just didn't find the back of the net. And you know, we got a late goal that period, which really changed things and got us in a better situation. It was 5-2 at one point. We score late in the period. Shader gets one to make it 5-3. But I thought we were really good in that period, and obviously uncharacteristic from both of our goalies. And I've told you this in the last couple interviews we did. Like, those two guys have been rock solid for us all year, and you know, they've had a little of a bit of adversity between the two of them, and then obviously Caden with a lights out performance on Saturday. We'll talk about that, but you know, both guys have been so good that you know, you don't expect it from them. They've set the bar so high that if they come back down to earth every once in a while, everyone's shocked. But that's junior hockey, and quite frankly, that's hockey in general. You watch the best goalies in the world have an off night. And the goalies are under a microscope. You have an off night, everybody knows it. If a forward has an off night, maybe we shuffle the lines up a little bit. Maybe he doesn't get the same amount of ice time, and the fans don't really notice. But goalie has an off night and everybody in the building knows right away. So, it was great because obviously Whitey comes out, Caden goes in. He's able to kind of settle it for us, even with the mistake that we made on the breakout behind the net. He made some big saves for us and got us a chance to win there in the third.
You have any questions for Rocky or myself? A new text line, 402-999-4620. That's 402-999-4620. Text us, call us. We want to hear from you guys. We're downtown in the Haymarket on 8th Street at Buzzard Billy's. So we're already getting a question from Eric Reese. And this is a good one, actually, because we have plenty to talk about throughout the show. But Eric Reese is a billet dad who doesn't often get involved with the calling. He's a long-time listener and viewer, which we appreciate. Rocky, the question is, could you give us some insights on recruiting? When does recruiting start for next year? I know you already want to think about the next 19 games of the season. Obviously, a Clark Cup championship is the goal in May. But how early do you guys start on trying to form that next year roster?
A year ago. Billy Puglisi is our director of scouting, and our assistant general manager, Nick Fabrizio, obviously our general manager. Those two guys are doing a lot of work. And then we've got a tremendous regional scouting staff. We've got guys all over the country that are picking guys up and writing reports, trying to give us some feel on who we need to get Billy out to see, who we need to get Nick out to see. And the way the USHL works is we have a phase 1 draft and a phase 2 draft. And so your phase 1 draft is all of your 16-year-olds. Your this year was 2005s, next year it's 2006 birth years. And then our phase 2 draft is any eligible junior hockey players. So our roster next year will be a combination of our returning players and then our affiliate list. We have X number of players on the affiliate list. We have 304s or 303s, a combination of 6 03s and 04s, and then 10 05s. Those guys are our property on our USHL affiliate list. And so we'll take some of those guys that'll be ready to play for us next year. The ones that aren't, we'll stick on our affiliate list for another year. We'll bring a new crop of guys in, 10 new 06s, and then draft from that phase 2 list with some guys that have played junior hockey, that are experienced, that are ready to come in and play. And that's how the roster will shape itself next year. And then obviously we make some additions with some key free agents. This year you look at Luke Johnson, Lucas Wallen, 2 free agent guys that were able to join us and have had big time impacts, and technically Antonio Fernandez was a free agent addition to our group, and he's been outstanding. We say it week in and week out. He's creating so much offense for us. He's got 11 goals this year. He's got 22 points from the blue line. He's playing on our power play. He's playing in all situations, playing with a lot of confidence, and gets rewarded this week with the USHL Defenseman of the Week honor.
And you also saw a big contribution from a guy you traded for in the summer, Mason Marcellus from Youngstown, after he was drafted by the Phantoms, comes over to Lincoln in a trade and has a monumental, just huge breakaway goal in overtime in a game where it's 6-6. If you come out of Thursday's game with a point, you say, hey, we played poorly. We got down. We still got a point. But this team has time and time again shocked everybody. You get 2. It's Marcellus with his 3rd game-winning goal of the season after an awesome pass from Joe LeMay in the D zone.
Yeah, and we get, we tie it up 5-5. We're feeling good. And then, another just kind of really summed up the way we played. We turned another puck over coming out of our own end, and it's 6-5. And, I just looked at the guys and said, fine, let's just go score another one. And we were preparing to get the goalie out and get our 6-on-5 unit on the ice. And Tony didn't even get us a chance to do that. He makes a great play down the dot and scores to tie the game. And I knew he was feeling pretty good about himself. And Mason's been one of our go-to guys in overtime. He scored a couple overtime goals for us this year, and obviously some shootout goals. So we got him and Joe and Tony on the ice there in the first shift of overtime. And Tony made a nice play with his stick and was able to create a loose puck, get it to Joe. And Joe made a big time pass to Mason, who had kind of read the play and took off, got a step on the defender, and scored a beautiful goal to end it for us.
And Keaton Peters also, his biggest contribution this season, 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists for a now 18-year-old kid. He turned 18 today. But for him, his development, you mentioned Antonio Fernandez, an 18-year-old kid. you're getting contributions from guys, whether they're offense, defense, or even Cameron Whitehead, who it's his first year in the USHL. Are you happy with that development, not needing to go too far out to bring in talent when you have it homegrown?
I really am. And you look at Keaton, we didn't keep him out of training camp. He started the year with the Janesville Jets in the North American Hockey League. We had a need at center, and we ended up swapping him and Jack Larrigan and putting Jack in Janesville and keeping him on our affiliate list in the hopes that he can continue to develop. But Jack was a right winger, and Keaton was a center, and we needed a center at that point. So Keaton has been really valuable to us. He's been playing some good minutes for us, winning his faceoffs, being defensively responsible, all of those things. And then, he's chipped in a little bit here or there, but he gets a 4-point night on Saturday, 2 big goals and 2 assists. And that line was buzzing with him and Standard and Raftery. They had a lot of energy. They were playing a regular shift all night, and they had some big production for us.
And you move on to a bigger game on Saturday. In terms of the standings, I know a lot of fans and yourself, you're not going to discount Fargo by any means because they've given you a hard time this year. You beat them 7-6 on Thursday. You moved to Saturday against Sioux City at the Icebox. Just, again, an outstanding crowd, something that we're used to seeing, at least my first year here before the pandemic in 2019-20. And it's just a clinic from you guys defensively. You're locking up Sioux City. You have 15 shots on goal in the first period, but you don't come out of that first period with a lead. And I asked you this after the game, but how tough is it to look at that locker room and it's 0-0 and the guys are focused on results, but it's zeros after the first 20?
Well, the good part is they're not focused on results. We have preached all year long that we focus on our process. And if we do things the right way, we're going to get the results that we want. And there was a really famous football coach back in the day by the name of Bill Walsh, who coached for the San Francisco 49ers when I was a young kid growing up. And he used to talk all the time about just having a good process and kind of letting the scoreboard take care of itself. And so we've talked to our guys about having good habits and trusting our process and buying into doing things the right way. And if you don't get immediate answers to those questions, if you're not getting the results you want, you can't steer away or veer away from it. And I felt like our energy was great in the locker room at the end of the first period. We had a couple power plays. We were creating a lot of offense. We're still 0-0, but we're feeling really good about the way we were playing, and the guys were excited about it.
And Lucas Wallen opens the scoring in the first couple of minutes in the second period on the power play. Then it's Aiden Thompson, just an outstanding individual effort on a shorthanded bid. He pokes the puck from Owen McLaughlin at your blue line, goes end to end, just that forehand, top shelf over the left hand of Alex Tracy, and that sends the Icebox ablaze because that was a moment where Sioux City has an opportunity to tie the game 1-1. You're going down the other ice, and Thomas makes it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, our special teams, their objective is to bring momentum back to our bench, especially our power play. If we don't score, we've got to, at the bare minimum, bring that momentum back to our bench. But, guys like Thompson, Wallen, they've been a penalty kill pair together for most of the year, and they're such an offensive threat when they're killing penalties because any little bit of space, they're going to take it and they're going to get going. And, they've created for us throughout the year, scored some big shorthanded goals. And Tom's put some pressure on Owen McLaughlin, who's obviously a gifted hockey player, a Philadelphia Flyers draft pick, a North Dakota commit. Like, you want to talk about cream of the crop, but Tom's is right there with him. And Tom's took it from him. And McLaughlin's probably going to catch most guys in the league if he gets stripped and has to go the other direction. But he wasn't catching Thompson in that one, and Thompson buries it and gives us a 2-goal lead.
And when that goal goes in, do you feel that energy on the bench, aside from hockey talk and stuff like that? What is that like when you hear this crowd in Lincoln just swarm the opposition with chants? I even stop the broadcast sometimes and just let the crowd breathe and give their opinion on the opposition's netminder, which is one of my favorite chants in the league. But the fact that you're in this building now, you're riding all this momentum, it's got to be a factor why you guys have 14-plus home wins on the year.
Yeah, I mean, the energy in our building is electric. You can feel it. Our fans feel when we tip the ice in our direction. They really give us a lot of energy when we have a good shift, and obviously they erupt when we score a goal, and that was a big one for us. And you could feel our bench really confident about the way things were going. And, we wanted to put the pedal down in that moment and try to turn a 2-goal lead into a 3-goal lead.
And then Christian Kostis comes up with a big goal. We'll talk about the trade that sent Christian Kostis over to Des Moines. And then it's in the third period where Dalton Norris scores the empty netter, and it comes on the forecheck. Could you have scripted that? I mean, this is a guy that has scored now 17 goals, 16 of them basically from the right circle. He ends up with a 2-foot birdie putt.
He does, and that was obviously a huge moment for us. But we get the goal from Kostas there. It's a great play by Dalton over to Tony, and we got Keaton coming off the ice on a change and kind of creating a little bit of havoc at the top of the zone. And Tony gets a great shot. Good deflection by Kostas, 3-0. But then we had a massive penalty kill where we were down 5-on-4. We take another penalty. We have a 5-on-3 power play or penalty kill for over a minute and a half, I think, and we're able to kill that off. That created an incredible amount of momentum for us. And then Dalts, they get another power play with 6 or 7 minutes left, and they're down by 3. And I think that it's a pretty good decision to try to make it 6-on-4 and get yourself to a 2-goal game. But we had a couple looks at the net. I thought we were going to bury one before that, but Daltz gets his first ever backhand USHL goal. It was a pretty one there. And if anybody's going to score from below the goal line in the offensive zone, it's probably not Daltz. So I would suspect that's probably his first and last backhand below the goal line goal, but pretty cool for him to be able to ice it that way.
I still like his first career USHL goal. It came the last game of the 2019-20 season. He threw it from the near side wing off of a defenseman and went in. So how about that for your first goal in the USHL?
They don't ask how, just how many. And hey, it's in the back of the net, and he's had a lot of pretty ones. So I think he'll take the dirty ones and the empty netters on top of the ones that he's wired into the net short side.
Well, the number is up to 17 for Dalton Norris, and the number for Caden Mbarico's saves on Saturday was 29, and he registers his first shutout as a member of the Stars, his second career shutout. He earns goaltender of the week honors. Antonio Fernandez wins D of the week. But how about Caden's play on Saturday? Just shutting down a team. Your defense and your forwards had a lot to do with it, playing responsible in their own end outwards, but Caden made some big-time saves.
Really pleased with our whole team performance there. And I had a conversation with Cameron and Caden on Friday morning and just kind of challenged them and said, hey, guys, like, you are the ones that set the bar where it's at. You need to keep it up there. And I think Caden was a little frustrated with himself because he has such high expectations. And to see him respond the way he did, to play calm hockey in our net all night, our defensive zone was sound. Our transition defense was sound. We didn't give many grade A chances away, but when we did, Caden was there to shut the door. And our guys played with a lot of confidence in front of him because they knew that he was feeling it on Saturday night.
So who gets is it the hard hat, or what was that like in the locker room post-game on Saturday? Because there were plenty of guys that were worthy of that effort.
We have a fire helmet. My dad was a fireman, and firemen are in my blood all through my dad's side of the family. And so I talk about the fire helmet as the guy that's knocking down the door, the guy that's running into the fire when everybody else is running out. And to me, firemen are heroes, and they do things that most folks aren't willing to do. And so that's the message with our player of the game every night is who's gonna lead the charge. And Caden got the helmet on Saturday night. It was well deserved. Keaton had it from Thursday night, and whoever had it the night before gets the opportunity to hand it to the next guy, which is pretty cool. And Keaton, I think, made a great choice by giving it to Caden.
Was there ever a moment throughout the year, or maybe just in your coaching career, where there was something like that and you didn't like the guy they gave it to, or was like, really, you're going to give it to that guy?
No, you know why? Because I trust the guys to make the decision they feel comfortable with, and they know more about the ins and outs of what's going on in the room. And sometimes they give that helmet to somebody that maybe didn't show up on the score sheet, maybe has been really working hard and finally got to break through and do something that was made them feel good. And our guys have a pretty good feel of, hey, we need to pick each other up if we're down. We need to recognize a great effort from one of our teammates when it's there. And they were so excited to give it to Keaton on Thursday, which I thought was awesome. And I think in that situation, Caden was kind of a no-brainer choice.
And we're not trying to blow by everything that's happened over the last 6 days, but so many has already happened on Monday to start the week. Now Tuesday, you have Caden Mbarico and Tony being named forward, or rather defenseman, and goaltender of the week. And you also make a big trade right before the deadline, which was last night at 6 p.m. You bring in Killian Keeker-Olsen, 15 goals, 13 assists on the year from the Des Moines Buccaneers. You send Christian Kosis over to Des Moines, and he's been a guy, and I know you've talked about this a lot, the 17-year-old kid Kosis, who was drafted with the 26th overall pick in the Phase 2 draft a couple of years ago. The future of this team in a way, and he was proving his worth over the last couple of weeks, a reason why Des Moines perhaps wanted to go after him.
Yeah, you know what? It's always difficult when we trade a player out. Christian has really shown some growth throughout the year. He's a young kid, 17-year-old kid, trying to figure out how to be a full-time junior hockey player while still being a full-time high school student. And that's a challenge that sometimes people overlook. But Christian was really starting to figure it out. His defensive side of his game has been the best growth of his hockey so far this year. He's become a penalty killer and a great penalty killer. Somebody that probably never killed penalties his whole life has become a very reliable one. And you have to give a good player up to get a good player. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we felt like getting Killian Keeker-Olsen, a 20-year-old, 3-year junior hockey vet that I have experience with. I coached him in Sochi, Russia a couple summers ago at the World Junior Challenge. He's really good on the dot. He's responsible. He's heavy. He scores. He kills penalties. He brings a veteran presence. He brings leadership. He's an alternate captain in Des Moines. You're going to have to give up a really good player to get a player of that caliber back. And so, you know, we had to make a tough choice, and we feel like we have a group that can win now. And we felt like we can find a way between our affiliate list and our draft this year to bring in another player of Christian's caliber and reload next year.
I know whenever we played Des Moines, that kid with the blonde hair coming out the back of his helmet, he's going to the corners, he's giving cross checks, he's getting cross checks from Joe LeMay, which I know he had fun with when he heard the news that Keeker was headed towards us. But how would you describe now number 29 on this team, his play and what he brings to the Lincoln Stars?
He's very skilled. He's a good skater. He's very smart. His hockey IQ is special, and that's what attracted to him as far as being a possible trade option. Is we feel like we've got a good group, a smart group, and I wanted somebody that was going to be able to integrate into the locker room right away, integrate into our on ice play right away, and have a hunger to want to win and add to what this group already has. And Killian kind of fit that mold all the way around. And, you know, obviously we have a great culture right now. So bringing a player in that I had experience with, I was able to say, hey, I've coached this kid. I know him. I spent pretty close to a month with him, you know, day and night, traveling to Moscow and to Sochi and, you know, playing in that tournament. It was such a unique experience that I got to know all the players really, really well. And so I was comfortable bringing him in and introducing him into our locker room with 19 games left, knowing that he was going to be a good fit for our group.
And did the thought of into your mind come where it's, I don't want to bring in too many guys because you've won 4 in a row, points in your last 5, 7-1-0-2 in your last 10, and you bring in Keeker-Olsen, who is a huge boost offensively. But I know there were some conversations about let's bring these guys in if we can, but at the end of the day, you only bring in one.
You know, we talked about, there was a select group of players that we were interested in, and a couple of those guys got traded a little bit earlier, a week or so ago. They were guys that were in consideration, but we were also really careful. We didn't want to give away our first-round draft pick. We wanted to make sure that we still had the assets we needed to continue to build and grow this organization long-term, but we didn't want to short-sight the group that we have now. And if we felt like, hey, we could get a player that can help us win, then we're going to do it. And that's going to cost us a little bit. Ultimately, it costs us Christian Kosis, which is unfortunate. But, you know, there was conversation about 2 guys. There was, but we didn't feel like we needed D. We've got some reinforcements coming with some affiliate players. Dashiell Oliver will be returning at the end of his season. Tanner Ludke will be returning at the end of his season. That's 2 really good forwards with a lot of USHL experience. Brendan Ali will be coming in for a stretch for us. And then we've got a young guy named Carter Davis, who's an 05 defenseman who's going to join us. And, you know, Carter might not play very little or at all while he's here unless we need him. But the experience of dealing with the playoff run, getting used to practicing at this level, being a pro at the junior level and understanding what it takes to succeed here is going to help him so much when it comes to trying to make this team next year. And so we were really excited about those guys that we're able to add. our affiliate list. And so we didn't think we needed to make any other major changes to the roster. We love the group. We love the culture. Everybody in that room seems to really like and respect each other. And so we didn't want to tinker too much.
You are listening to Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. We're at Buzzard Billy's on 8th Street. You want to give us a text if you don't want to come down, 402-999-4620. We'll be back in segment number 2 in just a little bit with Joe LeMay and Dalton Norris. But really quick, Rocky, you just mentioned the words and the phrase playoff run. Is that fun? This team has not seen the playoffs since 2017-18. They were projected to go in 2019-20, but this team with 19 games left is poised.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've only missed the playoffs one time in my career, and it was during a rebuild year in my first year back in Amarillo as the head coach. And, you know, and I had every intention on being in the playoffs. I've said that from day one. I said that when I took the job, and my expectation was to compete for a Clark Cup. And I think we've put ourselves in position now with 19 games left to go, where we have a chance to compete for a Clark Cup. And, you know, we've got a hungry veteran group, Joe LeMay and Dalton Norris, two guys that you're going to talk to here in the second half of the show. They're great leaders. They're great players, and they want to win a championship for the group, for the organization, for our fans, for the community, for our billets. And they're going to lay it out there and do everything they can to try to find a way to bring that cup back to Lincoln.
And before we do go to break, we'll talk just a little bit, because we always like to bring on guests and not so much hit them over the head with X's and O's, get to know these guys a little bit more. So this rest of this segment will be devoted to the 3-game weekend upcoming. Waterloo on Friday, which tickets are available at LincolnStars.com. Friday night, 7:05 against the Waterloo Blackhawks. And it's a 2-game big series against the Tri-City Storm, both on the road at Viero Center. How do you keep these guys composed and focused on the task at hand, not wanting to look past Waterloo, because Tri-City obviously is that foe that you've been trying to get at all year?
I'm not even thinking about who we play on Saturday and Sunday, quite frankly. My only focus right now is preparation for Waterloo. And we have a tremendous amount of respect for that group. They're a good team. They've given us the tough games every time we've played them. We've only played them, I think, 3 times this year, and we're 2-1 against them. So we know that they're going to be a big challenge. Those points count just as much as the points on Saturday and Sunday. So our guys probably aren't going to hear the TC words spoken at all until Saturday morning, because our focus right now is the Waterloo Blackhawks.
The team who shall not be named. We'll be back with segment number 2. Dalton Norris and Joe LeMay join the program. You are listening to Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, yeah, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's just south of 14th and Highway 2 for a feeling of your local hometown bar. There's plenty of TVs at both places and great food and drink. What are you waiting for? Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P and on South 14th Street.
Are you ready for $0 cost individual employee health insurance? How about company paid life insurance for you and your family? What about on-the-job paid training? Become part of the Landmark difference today. Join Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, at our upcoming career fairs. Chat one-on-one with our team to hear what it's really like to work with us. Career fairs will be held at Landmark locations. March 8th in Lexington, March 10th in Kearney, March 22nd in Beatrice, and March 24th in Hastings. See more details at www.landmark.careers.
Winter is upon us. Is your home prepared? If your furnace isn't keeping up or you've thought about replacing it, John Henry's has a new year, new unit special. When you purchase a select heating and cooling system from John Henry's, we will give you the furnace for free. There are also equipment and LES rebates up to an additional $850. This offer expires February 28th, so don't miss out. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give
John Henry's
a call or text today.
435-5555. Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
What does better service mean? At Allo, it means that you get the best fiber internet available at prices that work for you. Better service means installers who show up on time. Better service means no billing shenanigans. Better service means a real person answers the phone. If you're not paying for better service, what are you paying for? Get Allo. Get better service. Switch today at allofiber.com/better service.
Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Stars broadcaster Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Just a great song to lead us into segment number 2 of Outside the Box at Buzzard Billy's here on 8th Street, 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Cristiano Simonetta, joined alongside by Stars defenseman Joe LeMay for segment number 2. Really quick, we got to get to our sponsor for tonight's episode, Empyrean Brewing Company. They're excited to offer local beer choices at Stars games this year, which includes Lincoln's Empyrean Brewing Company. Their new beer, Sunslinger Extra Pale Ale, is a wheat-centered ale that is low on calories and carbs. It's also surprisingly flavorful with lemon highlights for a refreshing, easy-drinking beer. Enjoy other popular beers like Empyrean's award-winning Long Route Peanut Butter Porter, Mind Over Mango IPA, and Goal Line Amber Ale, sold only at the Icebox. Cheers and let's go Stars. Joe, what's going on? You can't legally drink yet. It's always a nice transition, but now the 19-year-old over here. Yeah. What's up? Thanks for joining me tonight.
Oh, thank you, Arno, for having me tonight.
Of course. And this is your first appearance on Lincoln Radio, correct? But didn't you just hop off a podcast a couple of minutes ago, or how was that?
They canceled it or something.
Wow.
We're going to do it tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So now this is the only show you're on tonight, but you've done a great job with the media, with myself, but also the guys in the locker room. You're a first-year kid in the USHL. You're 19 years of age. But when you first heard that you were coming to Lincoln now, obviously you were drafted a couple of years ago, but that you were coming now, what was that like for you coming to Lincoln, Nebraska from Canada?
I was pretty excited. Kind of always wanted to play in USHL. And when I decided to come here, I was supported by my college and my family, my advisors, so I thought it was the right decision, and I was pretty excited.
What do you know about Nebraska? Anything?
A little bit because of UNO, but besides that, I didn't know much.
So when you first come to the locker room and training camp and stuff like that, was there a guy that you initially clicked with? You were like, I want to be best friends with this guy. I really like him.
It's tough. There's a few good kids that I knew at first, but I was right away with Lava, Jericho, and Thompson in my house, so that first night was pretty fun. So yeah, with Lava and Jarecki was there. Thompson wasn't there the first night yet, but we had some fun, and yeah, so I would say pretty much Lava and Jarecki for the first night.
Yeah, you live with Noah Lava and Aiden Thompson. Isn't that just the worst combination to live with, the amount those guys argue?
Lots of argument. Sometimes I just have to let them talk,
Yeah, and yourself, you're a talker on the ice as well, if anybody's watched you at the Icebox this season, and you're also just outstanding offensively. You're well-rounded defensively. You're a Washington Capitals draft pick. Don't answer this question, but the question here presented by Great Clips, our question of the week, What number overall pick was Joe LeMay in the 2021 NHL entry draft? The winner that we'll select via the text line. You can text us at this brand new number we're going to get you in a second, but you have a chance to win 4 tickets to Friday's game against the Waterloo Blackhawks, $2 night. Text in the answer. What number overall pick was Joe LeMay in this past summer's NHL entry draft? 402-999-4620. That's 402-999-4620. So when you were selected by Washington, let's go back to the summer. I mean, we didn't even know if you were coming to the USHL, of course, but you get drafted by Washington. What's the emotion like? What did you know about the Capitals? Were you a fan of them before? And what was that feeling like when you first put on that red sweater?
Yeah, it's funny you ask because I was a fan of them. I was both Montreal and Capitals big fan. I was a big fan of Ovi, so my room's all red, white, and blue. So for Montreal and the Caps, emotions were crazy. I don't know, I'm kind of blacked out. I couldn't believe it. I was there, but like it was crazy. And then, yeah, first time I put the jersey on was pretty special, and it was fun to live with my family. Big emotions.
Yeah, and you had a video board or a jumbotron of the Capitals, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing your Zoom call with Capitals reporters. Did that just seem like it was a dream and out of a movie that it happened like that?
Yeah, kind of. At first, I didn't realize, and then the guy said it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's right." I kind of just realized that I've been a fan for them my whole life, but I kind of saw it as a different team, and then kind of just realized, yeah, like that's the team I've been dreaming of for so long.
And despite you being drafted and having all these accolades coming into the year, you haven't, and I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable with compliments, but you've never acted like too cocky or too overly confident in your abilities to where it affects the team in the room. Has that just always been a part of your personality, being humble?
I mean, like, whatever happens, whatever results you get doesn't make you a different person. So whatever I get for results, like, I'm just the same guy, and it doesn't really change me.
All right, and aside from the hockey stuff, I have to talk to you, and you probably know where I'm going with this. What do you like to do in Lincoln when you're not playing hockey?
Hop on some horses.
So what do you mean horses in Lincoln, Nebraska? How in the world did you find horses?
Well, when I got here, I was kind of joking around with anyone, like asking
you asked me, and I was like, I have no idea where.
I was just asking everyone, and you kind of got on it a little bit. Some fans I met got on it too, and some, like, maybe like 2 months later, like, some people start saying, "Oh, I might have somewhere," and then when you meet these people, they know someone else, and then everything got started there.
And where does that love of horses and farming and stuff like that come from?
Well, kind of grew up on the countryside back home. We had some horses. My mom was a big fan. She was riding horses when she was younger, but then I was kind of more focused on hockey growing up, so didn't ride a whole lot. So I would say like 2 years ago, when I was in BC, my billet family had a horse. So I went there with them and kind of worked around. Like, I was used to animals and everything, working with them back home, but riding was more this year. In Salmon Arm.
And you've been bringing some of your teammates out, and guys that are city guys and have never even, lifted up a shovel in their life. You know what I mean? Like they've got dishwasher hands, and you're bringing them out and handling these horses. Is there a favorite experience you've had with one of the guys on the team?
Oh, I would have to say my captain, Dalton Norris. It was pretty fun. It was one of these horses that wasn't the most experienced, I would say. So he was a little scared to hop on it, but we got him to jump on him, and everything went right.
So who's next?
I don't know. Maybe you, Ano.
Maybe that'd be awesome. I've never rode a horse. So
oh, that would be awesome.
It's tough. I can't even imagine where it would begin. But you're probably the expert here.
Oh, we'll see.
And then when coming from Canada to the United States, you do speak French, and you were actually talking to your dad today. How hard is it, being in the United States, playing hockey? And I know your family probably watches every one of your games, but has your family been able to get to Lincoln, Nebraska for a game yet?
Yeah, they did. They came watch 2 games sometimes before Christmas, and yeah, they're working on their English. They'll get there.
Oh, so you're the best English speaker out of the family?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And how easy was English to learn for you?
not that easy, but not like everything's kind of in English now. Like music I would listen to back home, and sometimes
Some
movies.
Justin Bieber up in Canada, right?
Oh, plenty of it. Yeah, but I don't know. It wasn't too hard because I was just full time in the dorms back in Rhode Island, so I kind of learned pretty quick there.
Do you have a favorite moment on the ice at the Icebox this season? You've had plenty of them.
I don't know. I'd say might sound weird. It's not the biggest I've had, but when my family was there, passed to Thompson. Well, Laba gave it to me. I passed it to Thompson, and then we scored right in front of our billet family. So it was like everything was perfect, and then my parents were there. So that was a pretty cool moment.
And what have you thought of these crowds here? Who would have thought? I mean, I'm coming from Chicago. You're coming from Canada. That Lincoln, Nebraska would boast such a crazy fan base. And there's so many fans here. What is that
crazy.
like?
I love it. All the boys love it. It gets so loud. Either that they cheer the other goalie or the referees or cheer for us. Whatever they do, it's loud. So we all love it.
Yeah, they're loud on the streets here on 8th Street. Buzzard Billy's here in downtown Lincoln. You have a huge game on Friday against Waterloo, then 2 also significant contests against the Tri-City Storm. What do you think of this team right now, the Stars? You add Killian Keeker-Olsen, you're poised for a deep playoff run, but you still have 19 games left.
Yeah. Same mentality we've had all year. Kind of focus on our process, and of course that adds up a lot to our team. Like he's going to do a really good job. I hated playing against him. I told him that. So I love the fact that he's with us now, and the other team are going to hate playing against him. So, yeah, that's huge for us, and we're just going to keep playing our way for the rest of the year.
Joe, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
We'll be back with Dalton Norris, segment number 3 of Outside the Box here on 93.7 The Ticket at Buzzard Billy's.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill has 2 Lincoln locations that are great for any occasion. If you're downtown for a basketball game or a concert, stop by their newest spot at 10th and P. Don't forget to check out their social media pages to learn about any concerts on stage at Rosie's. If you want to avoid a busy downtown scene, head over to the original Rosie's just south of 14th and Highway 2 for a feeling of your local hometown bar. There's plenty of TVs at both places and great food and drink. What are you waiting for? Rosie Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P and on South 14th Street.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, yeah, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 330 North 48th Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Back to Outside the Box with Rocky Russo and Cristiano Simonetta on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A little dance you guys do to this song?
There is, yeah. We the guys get pretty hyped up when they hear it every time we win, so it's good.
That is the voice of Stars captain Dalton Norris. Cristiano Simonetta with you, wrapping up the show here at Buzzard Billy's on 8th Street. You are listening to Outside the Box. And Daltz, thank you so much for joining me. How do you think your alternate captain, Joe LeMay, did in his first, radio media appearance?
He did a great job. He did unbelievable. He's well-spoken. He's a really good kid, so it doesn't surprise me.
Now you need to do the whole interview in French.
Could you imagine?
I don't know. Do you know a second language or a third language at all? Would you take Spanish for 2 years in Michigan?
So I was fluent in German for a while growing up there.
Of course.
But I lost a lot of it just coming back. It's natural. You don't really speak it when you come back. So was fluent in that. Took Chinese in middle school and high school. And then French guys taught me a couple things. So
probably nothing that you could say on the air.
Oui. That's about it. Everything else probably should stay off the air.
Daltz, I always make fun of you because we've been here for 3 years. I have, and you have as well. It feels like we've grown up together in this city. And I always talk about the fact that you scored 1 goal and 8 assists in your first 2 seasons. Your first year, you were buried. You were trying to find your role and get some minutes. Second year, you got injured. Third year, you couldn't have asked for anything better, right? You wear the C on your chest. You have 17 goals this year. I remember you used to talk with me about just getting 1 goal in the preseason, and now you're up to 17. How fun has this third year been for you?
Oh, it's been awesome. Tough to describe, honestly. Best year, obviously, personally for me, but the guys have been unbelievable. The coaching staff's been unbelievable. Obviously, I've been with you now for 3 years, and the crowds we're getting have been unbelievable. You really can't script a better way to go out other than, hopefully winning a Clark Cup. So this year, it's so much fun. Great group of guys, and couldn't really ask for more.
And you scored your first couple of goals on the road. You finally scored your first goal. It sounds so hilarious to people that are just listening for the first time or seeing you this first year. But how much of a relief is that you're hitting the back of the net at will and you're really improving on your offensive side of the game?
It's a big relief. Obviously everyone wants to do well personally, but at the end of the day, it's about the team. I have some really good guys feeding me the puck. Obviously LeMay up top and Thompson across the seam. So I give all the credit to those guys. Obviously it's a little bit easier to bury it when maybe the goalie's not in the net, but it's been surreal. It's been, better than I could have imagined. So it's been awesome.
And let's take it back to your first season here in Lincoln. Was there a guy you leaned on, whether it was a defenseman, a goaltender, a forward, to kind of help you get through the USHL?
It was definitely Jordan Power, our captain at the time. Just a really good guy. Could go up to him and talk to him about anything. It didn't even have to be hockey related. Obviously I was kind of a young kid at that point, 17 years old, leaving home. So there's a lot of times where I would talk to him about stuff that maybe wasn't even hockey related. So I owe a lot to him, and obviously he's having a really good college career as well. So probably Jordan Power, but we had a lot of good guys that year. Colby Enns, obviously Brad Morrissey, Brock Bemmer, my roommate, Josh Lopina, Matt Miller, Barbalina. The list goes on and on. We had a a really good group. So that first year was definitely good to have those type of guys under my belt.
Just an insane team offensively. You led the Western Conference in goals. You led the USHL in power play percentage. And then March comes around. You score your first USHL goal in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Then the season gets canceled, postponed into what now we know is COVID-19. So what was that emotion like, having this, concept of a playoff run? We're going to go at it in Lincoln. And then it's like, wait, hold on. Let's just make sure we're okay first. We don't know what's going on in the world.
It was crazy at the time. I mean, actually, we were out. My parents were in town last weekend. We were kind of talking about it. We were playing on Saturday or whatever, and then next thing you know, me, Cole, and Josh, my two oldest brothers, were all home within 2 days. So that doesn't happen very often, especially in the sport world. So it was pretty surreal. Obviously, we all ended up being safe, and that's really what the main obviously point was. But it was a crazy 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever you want to call it, because we thought maybe in 3 or 4 weeks it was going to go away and we'd come back. And obviously it didn't work out that way. And even my second year was still COVID restricted. So it's a crazy world we live in nowadays.
And you had a couple of great crowds in that 2019-20 season. The last home weekend was against Tri-City. Weirdly, Griffin Jarecki's debut, just to age both of us here.
Yeah.
But now in your third year, we're seeing these great crowds at the Ice Pack, stuff that you were promised sort of when you came in, when you were recruited after being drafted by Tri-City.
Yep.
What has that been like for you and the guys playing in front of 3,000 plus people?
It's unbelievable. Obviously, it gives us a lot of energy. It helps us, but our first year we had a couple of pretty good crowds. Second year was restricted, and this year you still don't know what to expect, right? Still COVID-19 restrictions, whatnot. But we're obviously we're having a really good year as a team. Individually, we're having good years, so it's good to see Lincoln Stars kind of back to the way it used to be. And Corey always used to talk about how much it used to fill up. So it's good to see 3,500 fans, and hopefully we continue to ramp it up as playoffs come closer.
And from the play on the ice and the fans to the locker room, what's the Lincoln Stars locker room like? Clean it up a little bit, but what is going on in terms of who are the jokesters, who are the best dressed, the worst dressed, things that come to your mind right now? And of course, they're going to all be listening and giving it to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, we have an unbelievable group of guys. Some of the tightest groups I've ever been a part of. I've had some really good teams, whether it be youth hockey or even my first and second year being here. This group is special. We're really tight. We do everything together. In terms of jokesters, I mean, Joe LeMay is a pretty good one. He's a jokester. Dougie Grimes is a jokester. Worst dressed. I don't want to throw anyone on the spot.
Okay, I'll say it. Nelly Sudi wore a couple weeks ago was awful.
Yeah,
Come on, Nelly. What are you doing?
His is normally pretty good, actually. I give Hank credit. He dresses pretty nice for the most part, but that suit was a little outrageous.
As Jordy would say, good style or bad style. That was one of the funniest things. Is there a term that, maybe here in a locker room and you may have said in conversation to someone who's not in hockey and they were like, what are you talking about?
Oh, there's definitely combos I've had. Not one that can maybe say on the air or one that comes to mind, but there's definitely been conversations where people are like, what are you talking about? And they have no clue. So best dress I give credit is Joey Pierce.
Wow.
I'll give him credit. He's got some good style. I like the way he dresses. It's clean. It's not flashy, but it's flashy enough. So he's the nicest guy in the world too. So I couldn't rip on him even if I wanted to, but he's got really good style. I'll give him credit.
And you mentioned Doug Grimes a little bit ago. Him, Braden Stannard, now you had Killian Kicker-Olson. These guys have come into the locker room and they've just fit perfectly. That doesn't often happen, whether it's in pro sports or junior sports when transactions are made. Are you a little surprised by how well Doug and Braden have come in?
I mean, not surprised. I'm surprised with how well they fit in. I'm not surprised that obviously all hockey players, we all have one goal and we want to win and do well individually. So that doesn't surprise me that they fit in from that standpoint. But I am surprised with how perfectly fit in from day one. Normally it takes guys a little while to get comfortable. It takes them 2 or 3 weeks to get to know everyone. And the minute Dougie walked in, he had a smile on his face. He was outgoing. That was special because you don't see that very often. And Braden's been the same way. He's getting along with the guys really well. And I'm sure Keeker Olsen's going to be the same way. Obviously, we met him today, but we're gearing up for playoffs. Some pretty big boys, and I think hopefully we can make a run here.
Yeah, how physical is it playing in the ice box? You're glad to not be playing against Doug Grimes, Gleb Veremyev, and now Killian Keeker-Olsen?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think a 6'4" Russian coming at me when I'm retrieving the puck is something I want to do at the ice box. So all those guys are going to be good. It's going to be good for the ice box. It'll be good for us. And even on the road, when we need someone to step up or someone to have a big hit or a big goal, those guys will be there too. So hopefully they'll be there coming up.
You're still listening to Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. Cristiano Simonetta joined alongside by Stars captain Dalton Norris. You also mentioned your parents were in town last week. Yeah. Was that just the second time third time they've been here in Lincoln?
Yeah, 3 years. The first year they came out once. I was lucky, close to home, Muskegon, and in the program they got to see me out there. Second year they came out separately just because of COVID and everything. It's tough to get out, and this year was their first time coming out, so it was pretty cool. They were pretty ecstatic about Saturday's game with the crowd and everything, and the way it ended up. So it was good.
And you tried to support your brother Josh, who's playing for the Ottawa Senators. Yeah. You went up to Canada, or you tried to in December, and then not exactly
that
the
was
trip
wild.
You planned.
Yeah, that was we had planned a trip where we had 3 or 4 days. Me and my oldest brother Cole, he was at Bowling Green. We had 3 or 4 days where we could go up and see him in Ottawa. It didn't work out that way. The NHL ended up shutting down for a week. It worked out. He came home. We all got to be at home for Christmas. Actually, the first time in 6 years that we were all kind of together, fantastic. Which was awesome. But, I'm sure there'll be a time here where I can go see him in Ottawa, knock on wood, but have yet to see him play live. So I'm kind of looking forward to that whenever that comes.
And is it just like a dream growing up with your brothers and you guys are all playing at high levels? Your dad played in the NHL. You mentioned over in Germany too, professionally. But what was that like in terms of, the physicality of growing up and discovering your love of the game and maybe, looking at your brothers saying, you'll never play in the NHL, and then you've got one that does.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's honestly hard to talk about like how close we are. Obviously every family's close in their own way, but between my mom and my dad and my 2 brothers, I couldn't ask for a better family. I couldn't ask for a better support system. They've been unbelievable for me. It almost brings tears to my eyes talking about them, but all I can say is thank you to them, and everything's been great. So hopefully we continue to climb up the ranks a little bit. We'll see.
Daltz, thanks for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate
you guys
it.
are listening to Outside the Box on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8 to 9 p.m.